Hi guys, so in this video we will be creating a monolithic application using Jhipster, and we'll be using Angular for the front end and Java for the back end. So before we get into creating the application, first you'll need to install Jhipster. I'm not covering that part in this video, so you can just go on the Jhipster website and click on this menu and select setting up your environment and follow this guide, and once you are done, we can get into creating the application. So the application which we are going to create is a facility management system, and it will have three entities: facility, room, and resident. And these three entities will have these respective methods. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first we'll create a folder. I'll name it demo, and then I'll get inside this folder, and then I'll open the command prompt, and then you just need to type Jhipster. So Jhipster will ask you what kind of application you want to create. So I'm choosing a monolithic application. Do you want to make it reactive with Spring Web Flux? No. What is the base name of your application? So yeah, demo. What is your default Java package name? Do you want to use the Jhipster registry to configure monitor? No. And what type of authentication you want to use? JWT. Okay, which type of database would you like to use? Okay, SQL. Production database is MySQL. Development database is also MySQL. Okay, which eCache implementation? No. Okay, and build tool Maven. Okay, for other technologies I'm selecting API first development using OpenAPI generator. So yeah, Swagger, and I'm using Angular. So which boots watch theme? I will choose Cyborg, and navbar will be dark. No, I don't want to enable internationalization. Okay, so for front end, which testing frameworks? Protractor. Would you like to install other generators from the? No. So Jhipster is now creating the skeleton of our application based on what all information we have selected. So yeah, I'll just fast forward this, and then let's continue. So Jhipster has created the skeleton of the application for us. So since we have selected the development database as MySQL, what I'll do is I'll just start my MySQL server, and I'll start my MySQL client. Okay, we'll just check the status of the server. Yeah, the server is running. So now, since the application is skeleton has been created, we'll just go into IntelliJ and open our project. Yeah. So I'm using IntelliJ, but if you have different ID, you can just go onto the Jhipster website and click on the menu, and under setting up your environment you can go into configuring your ID, and you can follow the steps and configure whatever ID you are using. Okay, so just click on project to see the structure, and since I have selected MySQL database for my development database, and the password of my MySQL database is root, what I'll just do is I'll go into src main, and under resources I'll go inside config, and I'll open the application dev.yml, and then I'll search for MySQL. So here the username is root and my password is root. So you can edit this and put your password here, and then we'll just start the application. For Linux and Mac, it is ./mvnw, and for Windows it is mvnw to run the application. I'll just fast forward this. So application has started, and as you can see it is running on localhost 8080. So I'll just type localhost 8080, and yeah, so application is up. And if you sign in with credentials admin, so this is our home page, and whatever entities we'll create will come here, and under administration, under APIs, you can check all the APIs which are there. So yeah, let's get started with creating the entities. So for creating the entities, we'll just go to the Jhipster website, and under creating an entity there is this command Jhipster entity and entity name and whatever options you want to give. So first we'll stop the application, then we'll create the resident entity first. So you just have to answer a few basic questions, and Jhipster will create the code for you. So yeah, do you want to add a field to your entity? Yes. What is the name of your field? Resident name. I am using lowercase characters and not camel case because it causes certain issues with Jhipster. Okay, what type of field is it? It's a string, and yes, I want to add validations. Okay, so it should be required, and minimum length and maximum length. The minimum length will be 3, maximum will be 20. Do you want to add a field to your entity? No. Do you want to add a relationship to another entity? So currently we are only having one entity, which will be this after it gets created. So currently I don't want to add any relationship. No. Do you want to use a separate service class? Yes, generate a separate service class. You want to use data transfer object? No. Do you want to add filtering? Okay, not needed. Is this a read-only entity? No. No, I don't want pagination. Okay, So overwrite everything. Overwrite this and all of this. The entity resident has been generated successfully. Now we'll create the second entity, which is room. So Jhipster entity room. Yes, room name, and it is of type string. I want to add validations. Should be required. We'll have a minimum length and maximum length. Minimum length 3, maximum 20. No, I don't want to add any other field, but yes, I do want to add a relationship to other entity. Okay, so the name of the other entity is resident. Yeah, the relationship is resident. Okay, so one room will have many residents. So one to many. Yeah. No. Yes, generate a separate service class. No. Don't need data transfer object. Filtering is not needed, and it is not a read-only entity. No, don't want pagination. Okay, override this and all of this. Now our entity room has been generated successfully. Now what we'll do is it is better to have like bidirectional one to many relationship between the entities. So what we'll do is we'll just edit the resident entity and add a many to one relationship with the entity room. So even to edit, we just have to follow the same command, jhipster entity and name of the entity resident. If, if the entity is already created, jhipster will ask you if you want to regenerate or add more fields and relationship. So yeah, I want to add more fields and relationship. Do you want to add a field? No. Do you want to add a relationship? Yeah. Okay, the name of the entity is room. Okay, yeah, so the type of relationship is many residents can belong to one room, so many to one. Okay, when you display this relationship on client side, which field of room do you want to use? So this field will be available on the front end. So I will say room name. Do you want to add any validation rules? No. Okay, no other relationships. Yeah, so don't worry about this warnings, just choose override this and all of those. So even entity resident has been generated successfully. Now what we'll do is we'll just run the application. Before we run the application, I'll just go to MySQL. I'll refresh the schemas. So the application must have created a schema for us. So I'll just drop it because we have made changes in the entity. I don't want to create conflicts, and then we'll enter mpnw and run the application. Our application has started and we'll just go and check it out. Yeah, so under entities, if you see now, we'll be having two entities, resident and room, and Jhipster uses faker to create this fake data for us. If you don't want this, then you can just go into application dev.yml and look for faker and remove this if you don't want Jhipster to generate fake data for you. We'll just go here and try to create an entity. So first we'll create an entity resident name 1, and if you want you can assign it to a room. So I'll just save it for now. Then I'll create a room 1. Then I'll go to residents, edit resident 1 and add room 1 to it. So yeah, so now you can add rooms to your residence. Now what we'll do is we'll create the entity facility and create one-to-many relationship between facilities and rooms. So let's go to command prompt. Let's terminate the application. Yeah, so the command is Jhipster entity and name will be facility. Yes, name will be facility name of type string. Yes, I want to add validations. Should be required, should have a minimum and maximum length. Minimum length will be 3 and maximum will be 20. No more fields. Yes, I want to add a relationship with the entity room. So one facility can have many rooms, so one-to-many relationship. Okay, no more relationships. Yes, generate a separate service class, no DTO. Filtering is not needed and the entity is not, just read only. Page initial is not needed. Yeah, overwrite this and all of those. So entity facility has been generated successfully, and now what we'll do is we'll just edit our room entity and add many to one relationship with entity facility, so we have a bidirectional one-to-many relationship. So let's edit the room entity. Yes, add more fields and relationships. No. Yes, I want to add a relationship. Name of the other entity is facility. Okay, so many rooms can have one facility, so many to one relationship. Okay, so to display on the front end I'll have facility name. No validation rules to this relationship. No. Yeah, so don't worry about these warnings and select override this and all of this. So again, before running the application, I'll just go to MySQL, refresh the schemas and drop the schema, and then we'll enter mvnw and run the application. So now that it's running, let's just go and check it out. So now under entities we also have a facility entity. We'll create a facility. We'll create a room and then we'll assign facility 1 to room 1, and then we'll create a resident 1 and assign room 1 to this. So Yeah, so this was just a basic CRUD application uh, using Jhipster, and you can also modify this, and I'll show you a modified version and you can try to achieve that. So what I've done is I've made a few changes to the previous version. Earlier what it used to be like was you can assign a room to a resident, but now if you edit a room you can also add or remove residents to your room. So now it is more like a bidirectional thing rather than just a unidirectional thing, and the same goes with facilities. So now you can also add rooms to your facilities, and on the home page what I've done is I've created a dashboard wherein you can view what all facilities do you have and what all rooms are present inside those facilities and the residents inside the rooms. So yeah, if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.